Framer is an amazing website builder. It lets you create websites however you want. With Framer, you can make a complex multi-page site or an elegant, effective landing page like this one. In this video, I'll guide you step by step and I'll show you how to customize this landing page template section by section. So I'm going to show you how to change the colors, the fonts, and the images. And then I'll also show you how to add your social media links and your product links. That way you could direct your traffic to wherever you want them to go. And finally, I'll also show you how to connect your email service provider. That way you could capture leads. Let's get started. All right, the first thing I want to point out right here is the 4 breakpoints. So what a breakpoint is just different views for this landing page. We have a desktop view, a tablet view, a phone or mobile view, and then I also created an extra one for wide screens. This way, whenever somebody looks at it on a wider screen, it formats well to that screen. So anytime you want to make changes, you always want to make changes to your desktop because whatever happens on your desktop view, it's going to reflect on all the other ones. Occasionally, you do have to make adjustments to the other ones separately, but when that happens, you'll go ahead and make the adjustments after you're done with the desktop. All right, so let's get started on the very top section. We're going to start with the hero image. So let's say you want to change this image right here. Just go ahead and double click it. And now you got this fill box that opens up. So now you could either click right here and choose one of your own images, or you could use Unsplash and you could use one of their images. So let's come up with something different. Let's say we want to make something for podcasts. We'll put this one right here. I like this one a little bit better. All right. And if you didn't want an image, you could just choose one of these other options right here. We're just going to mess with the color, but ultimately it looks better with an image. So we'll leave it right there. And now let's change the title on this. You can see when the blue box covers up the text or encloses the text, that means you're going to change what's inside. So let's double click this. Let's say instead of your brand, let's say podcast. Let's just write podcast. That's it. Now you could change the text right here. Same thing for the text right below the heading. We'll go ahead and click in this box. Now we'll double click and you can change the text to whatever you like. Also, it has a little AI feature right here where it could write the text for you. So rewrite with AI, but it's probably going to just rewrite what you already have in here. So we'll just leave it right there. Now the next customization is the colors. So let's change the colors on this box. We'll just click on this frame. We'll go to the right side. And now right here under styles, you want to go to fill, click the color, and now you could choose whatever color you want. Once you go to presets, you got all the preset colors, or you could just adjust it right here on the color wheel. You could also increase the transparency. And if you know your color code, you could just enter it right here. So that's multiple ways you could change the colors, either the presets, you drag this wheel around, or you enter the hex code right there. So let's go with blue right here. Now let's say you want to change the color of this CTA. Same thing, you click on the button, you come down to styles, fill, click on the color, and now you could choose a preset. Blue, red, let's go with black. So now you can see that, or now we can't see the text. So let's click in this box right here, this frame. Go down to text again, or to the text. We'll go to colors, change the color of the text to white, and now you can see it. So the other thing you could do now is also you could change the fonts on this. So right now we got podcast selected, and now we want to change the color. Say from white, we're going to change it to maybe orange. It doesn't look good with this blue in the back, but let's see, maybe pink. Nope. Purple. Black. There you go. I think we'll stick with white. So we'll leave it at white. That's how you change the color on the text. And also you could change the font. So if you want to choose a different font, you could go through the list they have right here. It's going to be under text. Go to fonts. And now you could go through one of the fonts they have, or you could also upload your own custom fonts if you like. Let's say you want to change the size of the text. You could go under text, go to size, and then you could change the size right there. You could highlight it, 80. There you go. If you want to change the weight, we'll go to the weight box, and let's say we want to put it to bold. All right, that looks good. All right, the other thing is these images, you could round out the corners. So let's say you click on the image, right? Come down, right here, radius. So let's say you want to get a radius on this box. Zoom in. Zoom in right here. All right, so let's say we want to do a radius of 50. There you go. Now you got a radius on the image. So you could notice that all around, but you could also see there's a color back here that's not matching. So what we want to do is go to layers, click on two columns. So this is going to be both sections. And now let's change. Let's go up. Let's go to styles, and we're going to change the fill. So it should change that background back there. So let's match this blue, which was, there you go. So now we could close that. If you want to keep it this way, you could leave it with those rounded edges. All right, so now let's move to the next section. We're going to change these buttons. So as you can see, we got a lot of buttons for all the social media channels that we use, or at least that I use. So maybe you want to add some more buttons to other channels, or maybe you want to remove some of these. Let's start with adding. Let's say you want to add a couple more buttons. What I usually do is click right here in the center where you can see that pink or red bar. Once it's highlighted, just hit Control D to duplicate, and now you got another set of buttons. Let's say you wanted to delete a button, just one button. Let's remove this. That button's gone, but now the other button, it kind of takes up that whole frame, so it's too wide. So what you want to do is click on that button, and now we're going to go to size, width, and let's go to relative. So now we could change the size or the width of this button to say 50%. All right, so now it's shrunk down, it's in the middle. But what if you don't want it in the middle? What we could do is select this frame, and now we'll go to layout, and we could go to distribute, and you could put it at the start of this frame. So now it shifts to the left side. What if we want it on the right? Then same thing, we'll go to layout, distribute, and click on end. So now it goes to the end. Go to the center, go to the start, right there. Let's undo that change. Just go back to our two buttons. So now let's say you're going to use these buttons. Same thing, you'll click on one of these buttons, and we want to link Instagram. So for this example, I'll remove my current link. So there's no link right now, right? But I want to link Instagram. I'm going to click that section once again. I'm going to go to my Instagram account, copy the URL, And now I'm going to paste it right here. So I'm going to paste, click enter, and there you go. Now when somebody clicks this button, it'll send them to my Instagram account on a different tab. So that's how you remove buttons, you customize the button size, and then that's how you add the links. Another thing is, what if you don't want 2 columns of buttons? Let's highlight this one frame right here. We'll hold down shift, hold the shift button on the keyboard, and I'll click the next one and the next one. And now you have all 3 frames or all 3 stacks selected. And we'll go to layout, go to direction, and rather than side by side, we'll go with vertical. And now it changed how it's lined up. So now it's vertically lined up. But now the buttons are really wide. Let's say you want to change that. Now we'll go to width. On size, we'll go to width. It's already on relative. So now let's just change the size of it to say 50%. And now the sizing of all the buttons change. If you want to make it wider, say 100%. There you go. All right. So let's go back. There you go. And let's change the color to this background. Same thing as the last time. Now we're going to change the color to match the other blue over here. The image, we'll change this image. We'll go with Unsplash. We'll go with a mic just to keep the same aesthetic. I like this image right here. But the thing about this image, maybe you want this mic to be a little bit more centered. So we'll double click the image. Let's go to position. And let's change the focal point. They got some presets right here, but you could choose a focal point. And let's drag it over. Put the focal point about right there. Apply. And now it shifts a little bit over. It looks a little bit better. If you wanted to shift it, you could once again go to focal point. You could also change the type where it fills the frame. It fits the frame. It stretches. It fits or fill. I prefer fill. And now just to keep with the rest of the images, we have a radius right here of, let's see, what was it again? We have a radius of 100. So let's give this image also a radius of 100. All right, there you go. Now it matches, but we want to change that background color. So let's click that box. It's easier if you go to layers, go to 2 column text. Now you can see it highlights this frame. It's a little hard to see that it's highlighting that whole thing. But now you can see the fill matches that color, and we want to change that to match this one, the same blue. There you go. Now the whole thing matches. All right, so let's go to the next section. Now this is where you have your products. So when somebody clicks this button, it's going to send them to my product store, which is a Gumroad link. And I'll give you a little example, a preview. So now when they click this button, it's going to direct them straight to my Gumroad store. So now they could go browse my products and see what they want to buy. So the way that we're going to do that is the same as the other buttons. You just click the button, click on the link, and then add a link to your store right here. And it'll direct them straight to your store. But I just noticed this text is kind of it's a little too bold. So I'm going to go with regular. There you go. I'm also change the color of these buttons. Actually, let's first change the background of this. Let's go with fill, change it to white, change the text to black. There you go. Let's change this section as well to match. I'm going to go with the white fill. There you go. Looks clean. Except these colors, we're going to change these to maybe say blue buttons. So we'll go to fill on the button, go with the blue. There you go. Change the text to white. Looks good. Same thing for these gallery cards. So we're going to change the color on these buttons. We're going to change it to blue, change it to blue, change it to blue, and then change the text. It's a little hard to select that text, so we'll zoom in a little bit. Change the text color to white, white again, and then white one more time. So now we got matching blue buttons, white text, all white background. The other thing is these gallery cards. Actually, there's two things. So these gallery cards, these could be links to say products or blog posts or a link to any URL you want to link to. Usually this will be like blog posts and products. Once again, you just click on the button, click on link, add the link, and it'll direct them right there. The other thing is adding more cards. So if you wanted to add more cards, the easiest way to do that is to just click on one of the cards, and you can see it highlights that one card. And then I'll hit Control D, and it'll duplicate that card. If I want two more cards, I'll just hit Control D two more times, and it's got a whole nother row for those cards. Let's say we want to take one of them off. You can see they just keep everything centered. So let's say you didn't want all these cards. You wanted to delete some later on. We'll just go ahead and select one of the cards, and it shows you which one you're selecting. Delete. Click another card. It's this card. We'll delete that one. And now we got 3 cards. And if you wanted to change the images, once again, just double click, change your images. Go ahead and change your text. You could change the background on this. So let's go with a different color. Let's say gray. That kind of works. We'll go with the gray. So it looks like a different gray. So we'll go with the light one. And then one more card. So we'll do gray on that one. Now we'll change the color of the text because it doesn't look good against that gray background. We'll go with black text. Black text. There you go. And you can change this to whatever color you want. So we'll change this last one to black. Looks a little bit better. I honestly like the black background better, but that's how you could change the color, the background on those cards if you wanted to change them. So we'll go ahead and go back to the previous. And now we got another section right here. So this is going to be for promotions. I already pre-wrote something. So you could draw attention for like sponsorships and stuff like that and have a contact button. But say you didn't want this, you could just highlight this whole section and delete it. Or you could, if you wanted to move it, let's say, here we go. You could move it around. So you could move it to the bottom. You could move it up. You could move it further up. You could move other ones around. Let's say we want to put this to the bottom. There you go. So now let's put this back at the bottom. Change this color. We're going to change the color on that to that one saying blue. Change this button color. So the thing about that button right here, you could remove it if you don't want it. Like I said, you could remove anything you want. You could change anything you want. But since this is like a sponsorship, a promotion page, you might want to link them to a whole nother page. So just click on that button and you could create a new page in Framer and just link that page here. Or maybe you already have an information page somewhere else and you could just attach that URL and direct them that way. So let's go ahead and change the button color. We'll change it to white. There you go. Looks pretty good. All right, so now for this last section for capturing leads. It's probably one of the most important parts of a landing page aside from selling your products. You want to capture those leads. So luckily with Framer, you could insert one of these frames. So we go to insert. If this wasn't already here, we'll go to insert. We'll go to forms and create an input. So it already has the input. We don't have to do that. Now, to set this up to your email service provider, we'll just go ahead and click this frame. And now on input, you could choose which service you want to use. So you could use either Loops, FormSpark, MailChimp, Get Waitlist, and ConvertKit. Unfortunately, they don't have more connections, but you could still do a little workaround and connect other email service providers. And I'll give you a little example of that after I show you how to connect, say, ConvertKit. So for this example, let's say you have ConvertKit. You're going to select ConvertKit right here, the API key. This is the API key you have in ConvertKit. So you'll get it from your account right there and paste it into this API key section. Then from one of your landing pages, you're going to paste one of your form IDs, and that's where you're going to capture the leads. Once you do all these three things, the last thing is you could open a link. Basically, you could direct them to another landing page, or you could do an overlay, say for like your referral network or something like that. Or you could direct them to that referral network. So you could just add the URL right there. That way, when they sign up, it'll direct them to a whole different page, and you could make it a thank you page. You could make it a webinar, a YouTube video, wherever you want to send them, it'll direct them that way. Okay, so now that we set that up, that's how you set up for ConvertKit. But let's say you have a different email service provider. And for this example, I'm going to show you with Beehiiv. So what you want to do is get the embed. You click on insert, you search for embed code. You get this block right here. So what you want is go to the embed section on the right, click on HTML. Let's stretch this box out a little bit. And now let's go to my Beehiiv account. Let's close this up. So what you want to do is go to your settings, then we'll go to publication, and then we'll click the tab on subscribe forms. So whatever email service provider you're using, you'll just go to your forms, and then we'll go to view. And this is where they have embed codes, and it tells you what it's for. It shows you it's a full width, and this is what it looks like. If you want this, you'll copy this code. If you want a fixed width, you'll copy that code. If you want the slim embed, just this little inline sign up form, which I want, I'll go ahead and copy that one. And now let's go back to Framer. So this embed code, right here under the HTML, that's where we paste that code. Click enter. And now this comes up. So now you got your sign up form. Let's put this right there. Let's say we don't need this anymore. We'll drag it to the side for now. But there's too much space right there. We want to reduce the space. So once we got this box highlighted or this frame highlighted, we're going to go to height. Instead of fixed height, we're going to go to fit content. That way it just fits this inline form. So we'll click fit content. And there you go, it shrank down. It shrank down, and we want to make sure that it fits nicely across all the viewports or all the viewpoints. And it looks good on all of them. So there you go. Now, whenever somebody signs up to this, it's going to send that lead straight to my Beehiiv account, and then your automations or whatever will kick in. All right, so the last thing we probably want to do right here is just customize this color, change the background to white, just so it kind of fits the aesthetic of the whole page. We'll go with black print or black text. Right there, black text. Slightly less darker. There you go, just so you can see a difference between those two. And now you can zoom out, look at the page. Probably want to change this one to match the whole podcast theme. So let's say we go with studio. All right, so now we got a little recording studio. Kind of matches the vibe of this whole landing page. I think it looks pretty good. So now basically that's how you customize the images, your text, your links, buttons, cards. What else? Oh, one more thing is this section right here. So columns, let's say you don't want it side by side, you want to change the way it's lined up. Maybe you want it vertical. We'll switch it to vertical, or you could switch it back to side by side. So let's say you go with up and down, but you want the image on top. So now we'll click on the image and we'll drag it up. There you go. Now you got the image on top and the text on the bottom. So basically, this is going to be your landing page. You could customize it to however you want. And if also you wanted to add new pages, just click up here on pages. And you can see you only have a home page, which is this entire landing page. If you want to add more pages, X that. You could add extra pages, a portfolio page, a different landing page, maybe a blog, a CMS, or a 404 page. You could add any page you want. Or maybe you want to add more sections to this landing page. So let's say you want to add a contact form. You could add that right there and it just adds towards the bottom. Move this to the side. So like, let's say you want to add another section. Maybe you want to add pricing cards. There you go. Now you got 3 pricing cards. They're already custom built. It's pretty similar to the ones that are up here. They're just a little bit different with no images. They're pricing cards. Another example would be something like section. You could add testimonials, either 3 or a whole wall of them. A bunch of testimonials right there, which I think would be great for helping you to make sales. So anyways, that's the landing page. That's how you customize it. And if you want to make more pages, you just customize it the same exact way we customize this one. But anyways, have fun with your landing page. Hopefully you love it. Enjoy.